Regional just seems like we'll have a group of people. Yeah, that's probably the closest. But just because you group a bunch of Yoruba people together or the Igbos together and have them self-govern doesn't remove your problem. The fundamentals are still going to be carried from Nigeria to your western region or your northern region, northern protectorate, whatever it is.
So they're saying the problems are not homogeneous to just that?
No, because they've perfected it. They've perfected the illusion. So if you then decided to have a Western region government, who are going to form that part of the Western Union? What, Oyo State, Ondo State? What is Kwara going to be in Western region? Or is that going to be with Northern region? What is it? So to even agree what will constitute that Western region, if we so call that now, right? You still have to have the four pillars.
The executive, the
you need
legislative.
them to be functioning the way they should. Or are you saying completely, actually, so the State House of Assembly, which will be the legislative arm, in the way where you decide to have a regional, that State House of Assembly, what produces the State House of Assembly is the delegates and then the so-called election. That's selective. That's selective by who this executive governor of that state is. So if we so you're saying get rid of the governor of the state and have one leadership in the Western region. So that person still dictates what happens, or the financial power or the power that be would dictate who the legislatures would be. The judiciary also is in their pocket. So let's not even talk about the media. So the problem isn't whether you decide to have regional government. Yeah, you can have regional policing just to get policing down to the people where the heart of the problem is. I subscribe to that notion of having
from a defensive point of view.
From the defensive, from terrorism, from dealing with the insecurity in the country. Yes. But from the perspective of trying to rule by region, I think that just makes a mess of the whole thing. We already have regional government. That doesn't even work. You have chairmen of the local government. You have councillors of the local government. These guys don't even manage your budget. They get the pittance that flows over from the table of the executive. The local government chairman is supposed to be an authority within his own right.
Correct.
He's the closest to the community that you would ever have in a system.
But how are they being funded?
So we already, if they knew...
Because they're being funded by the state government, aren't they?
That's wrong.
Oh, they're not? Okay.
They're not. This is where I said the default line is wrong. The checks and balances, somebody's looking sideways, because as a local government chairman, you have the same executive power within your local community as the state governor has over the state. So your allocation should come directly from the federal government.
But is that in law or is that in spirit?
It's a law.
Yeah, but is that
it's
what
not
actually...
in spirit, because you have...
And that's why I said what I said.
It's a law because you're supposed... The accountant general of the state, I don't know how these things work, but I'm assuming the accountant general of the state, somebody will have to sign to say, this is my budget for this state.
And this is how much I need. And
this is how much there's been appropriated.
Yeah.
And they would have to draw down. So the chairman of the local government should be drawing from the federal, the accountant general.
In Abuja?
But in Abuja, not the other way around. Not going to the state governor, and the chairman then seem to be going to the governor.
That's what I think happens in some states.
I don't know how that.
Yeah.
I seem to recall, I believe under Obasanjo's regime, we had chairmen. Chairmen, they were actually in charge. Whether I can understand what it means that certain chairmen were becoming big back then. To be a local government chairman meant something.
Yes.
You were in charge. You had power. You had autonomy. You had control of finances. Yes, some people did abuse that. So did the executive arm. So did the state government.
Yes.
So you cannot, because of that, checkmate so they become a puppet. They are not effective. They cannot even build a road. They cannot repair a road within the local government.
Because everything is going back to the governor.
To the state, relying on the commissioner of works and housing, or commissioner for whatever land, Yeah, that escapes me right now. So you cannot rely on that. And nowadays, the funny thing is, some of those big commissioners for works, the governors are doubling as the commissioner for works. The governors, the same way our president, not the current president, but the previous president, was the commissioner, was a minister for petroleum
The current president is the Minister of Petroleum.
as well.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's what happened in.
So what really happens is somebody. So was that ever a rule? Would you say that was in the rule?
That's why I'm saying some things are in spirit, some things are in law. There's no law that prohibits the president.
You have your work is too vast already. Why do I need to add more to myself? Why
no law, I think.
So are
anyway.
you not trusting? Have you not added the segregation of duties? You can still hold somebody responsible without you being in charge.
I think there is a trust thing, but there is viewers. There is a junior minister, what they call junior ministers in the UK. There is a minister of state.
The minister of state is toothless.
For petroleum, but the minister of petroleum in Nigeria, from when I checked last, is the current president.
Wow. So we've carried a bad precedent set by Buhari. We've carried it along in Tinubu's regime. Wow. And there is nobody to check that. We have the finest brains, sands, and highly educated people in the sphere of law in Nigeria, and will allow this to run. So you can see why this illusion. So sometimes it's not even an illusion. They play out. This is autocratic. I do what I want. So we allow that to play out in the open. Nobody checks it. Nobody says anything. Nobody batters an eyelid. You might I'm sure people will make noise in the media, or whatever it is, and that's the end of it. What else? So this is what I mean by the representation or the illusion that you think you're being ruled by people. There should be consensus in government. There should be consensus in between the people and the government to say, you are representing us, our interest. But that's not happening. So it's quite open. Now, I think the question has been answered. I think it's just pure, I have the power, I grab the power, I do what I want. And to a certain extent, I will try and get the legislation on my side. Judiciary on my side. So what's left really is just, I think it's allowed to play the aristocracy and just blatant Talumamumi kind of, that's the way you're about to say,
who's going to catch me?
Yeah, who's going to stop me?
Who's going to stop me? Yes.
Is a complete, that's what I say, is a state capture. What do I mean by state capture? That's exactly what we just explained. We just spent the last 30 minutes talking about. It's exactly that. Because so self-organizing as a people. When I say self-organizing, I mean that speaking truth to power. Using your medium to speak out, challenging back. Those are the little means of trying to say, well, our people are awake. Our people are awoken. Look at what
they're alive to their responsibilities.
They're alive to their responsibilities, but you can't be docile. But I've said, when a man or woman's first means is about survival.
Maslow's role, food, shelter, clothing, you said.
Yeah. So those issues now become, okay, as long as I can eat today, we'll worry about tomorrow. So let's never even worry about who's governing us today. So, but the problem is multifaceted, and we cannot. I don't think we have any answers to it. I'm not saying democratic government is a good idea conceptually, but in practice, China practices its own single party, guided by the constitution.
Mixture
is a communist party, CPC or something like that. That's what they are, and they're guided by the constitution that allows you to have single party system.